So let's talk monetization in Diablo Immortal. There's a lot of people wondering about this. A lot of the people who are coming from a PC game with a lot of games on PC not being necessarily pay to win, they're a little concerned with Diablo Immortal's monetization. I will say that it is a mobile game, and with it being a mobile game, there's a culture around certain kind of tiers of costs when you're talking about buying power. So be prepared for that. That is just the reality of the situation. We're not really here to talk about what is good or bad, just to talk about what you can actually get with your money spent. And we're going to talk about how expensive it could be. Let's jump into it. So what can you actually purchase with your money in Diablo Immortal? Well, the first obvious choice is the Battle Pass and any bundles come along with it, which will be materials and certain currencies. But the main thing that all people talk about is legendary gems, and they're not wrong to talk about it because that's the main thing. You can purchase it from the marketplace, which is set by players, and then also in legendary crest form, which you can farm. Now, on the right, you'll see legendary gems basically slotted into the legendary equipment. So you'll need 6 legendary gems here, which is quite a bit. Now, on top of already getting legendary gems and farming for them or buying them or whatever, you also need more of them to power up your already existing legendary gems. There's one other thing that you'll want to purchase with money, but that's going to be later on. These things are farmable, but they are much more rare. And so it is going to take you a while to go ahead and get it all if you are not buying them a long time. Let's talk about how much it's going to cost and whether or not it's worth it. This spreadsheet is part of our Aftershock United spreadsheet, so you can go ahead and check it out if you would like. I'll leave a link to the Discord in the description down below. Now, what you can see here is the legendary crest drop rates, which is one thing that you could purchase from the shop, and honestly something that a lot of people will be purchasing because you'll be farming. Now, these drop rates and the cost associated are not just things that you can buy to get value out of. You need to play the game a lot, especially for these 5 out of 5 star legendary gems, which I'll explain in just a moment. But you can buy eternal orbs, platinum, and legendary crests from the shop. And one thing that's really crucial missing from this sheet is the fact that the legendary gem crafting rates do not exist here. We do not know the actual rates. I've not found any information on it. I've also not seen enough of a sample size from other content creators and content in the beta for you to determine whether or not the drop rates are what they are. Now, based on those drop rates, it could be much less, much more. Well, not necessarily much more, because if it's much more, you could go for legendary crests. But who knows what the actual costs of these things are, because we're missing a crucial part of it. What I will give you is the legendary crest drop rates and the cost associated with getting certain ones. Now, in the game, there is 1-star legendary gems, 2-star legendary gems, and then 5-star legendary gems. The 5-star legendary gems can be up between 2 and 5 stars. You can have the maximum potential or the minimum potential, which is 2-star. Based on the actual star level of the maximum potential will give you more stats, but they all have the same unique bonuses within them. Now, when you rank them up, the higher star level ones are going to give you more stats. How do you rank them up? Well, you need more legendary gems, and the higher tiered ones will give you more XP towards ranking up. Now, you can see here, you'll need 2,000 runs to get a 5 out of 5 star legendary gem on average, which is a lot. On top of this, your legendary crests will need to be purchased. You'll need to spend that amount of money. Now, again, I'm not here to say this is good or bad. This is very honestly average for a typical mobile game. I'm not surprised to see something like this, but this is just the reality of this situation. Now, what other things can we purchase with cash? Well, the next thing is going to be these Dawning Echoes, and this is very important to talk about legendary crests as well. These Dawning Echoes are going to be 1,000 eternal orbs. These are used to awaken your equipment. So as you saw earlier with the legendary equipment, those 6 pieces, once you rank up the legendary gems within them up to rank 10, you'll get access to the ability to awaken them with this Dawning Echo. What does it give you? Well, right here, you'll be able to see this bone armor damage increased by 10%. That is what you'll get. You'll get a unique bonus to one of your skills, usually increasing damage. You'll decrease cooldowns by 10%, something like that. when you go ahead and awaken them. Then there is one last thing when you go ahead and awaken them, and that is resonance. Resonance is this right here, base attribute bonus plus 4.4%, as well as just getting extra bonuses when you reach the 10, 20, and 30 resonance levels. What do you need to go ahead and increase that? Well, you need more gems. So all of this revolves around the fact that you need legendary gems. Legendary gems are the crucial part of any sort of monetization and power in this game. Now, is this going to be an absurd bonus? I personally do not think so. When you're talking about PvE content, yes, they can stack up quite significantly. It'll increase your attributes and some of the stats and all that good stuff, as well as ranking up your legendary gems will increase your offense and defense rating, or your combat rating, which it will probably be in the global launch, up to a point of 99% increased damage or defense against PvE content. PvE content isn't that crazy to deal with, though. It's really concerning PvP content when we're talking about these bonuses that you're getting. Well, when you're talking about combat rating, the bonuses will be capped at either a minus or plus 10% damage or survivability. So you'll be getting all these bonus stats, and honestly, it will cost you a buttload of money if you wanted to go for it. Just to kind of theory craft a little bit here, if we're talking, okay, we need 5 out of 5 star legendary gems for each of these slots, we're going to talk about 5k, rounding up, 5k, 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 30k in terms of just getting the legendary gems in each slot. Then you have to rank them up. And so who knows how much legendary gems you actually need for that. And then you have to spend about $10 per each piece, and which isn't a whole lot, and then to awaken them. And then you go ahead and talk about the resonance features, which again, who knows how much you need to actually increase your resonance here with gem power. I can't really say, but it's safe to say that it is quite a bit of cash. So yes, the ultra uber whales, krakens, and things like that will have an advantage in PvE content, a decent advantage, but in PvP content, I do not think that overall these stat bonuses will be too overwhelming, even if you come up against a player who is quite stacked, because again, you will have, as a free-to-play player, or even as a low spender, you may not have the 5 out of 5 star legendary gems. But the difference between a 5-star absolute whale or kraken, whatever you want to call it, player isn't the difference between them and someone who has no legendary gems. It's the difference between them with 5 out of 5 star legendary gems and you maybe having a couple of 3 out of 5, a couple out of 4 out of 5 legendary gems, and maybe 1 5 out of 5 legendary gems. You could still rank those up. You're not naked in terms of gear here. It's not like that. You could still awaken the pieces even when you go ahead and drop in some legendary gems. I think a lot of people are comparing the two between your absolute krakens and the ones with the 5 out of 5 star legendary gems with someone who has 1 or 2 star legendary gems, which is just not going to be the case. Because if we just go back to that spreadsheet over here, you could see here that the ability to drop some of these legendary gems is much more likely when we're talking about the lower rarity gems. And mind you, the awakening can still happen without actually, getting the 5 out of 5 star legendary gems. So the difference between a low spender and an absolute kraken is not that big of a deal. The difference between a low spender and perhaps a free-to-play player could be a big deal, because you do have to purchase those eternal orbs to awaken your equipment. So I think that a lot of people say, okay, well, if someone spends a ton of cash, they're going to be so advantaged between, a low spender and a super high spender. But I think that the big difference is actually a free-to-play player and a low spender. That is the big difference, not the low spender and the absolute kraken. And the reason for that is you cannot awaken your equipment without actually purchasing that item from the shop. As far as we know currently, it could change by global launch. So if you are going to be a free-to-play player, just note that there are no rush to rank up your legendary gems overall, because you cannot awaken your equipment anyways. If you plan on low spending, go ahead and shoot for those awakened pieces, because that's going to be your absolute bonuses. Now, mind you, you're not going to want to rank up legendary gems if they're not solid. Like, you're not going to want a 10 out of 10, a 2 out of 5 star legendary gems, most likely. I could be absolutely wrong about this, depending on how common or uncommon these are, because again, I do not know the drop rates or the crafting rates of these legendary gems through platinum, which you can earn through the game. So there's a very significant portion of information that we're missing here. But I think a lot of people are not getting the big picture in terms of how much money is actually going to get you a lot of power. It's not a lot of money that gets you a lot of power. It's actually just a small amount of money that gets you a lot of power later on in the game. This is going to be much later on in the game, and it's still capped for PvP purposes. If you're talking about PvE, yes, you will have a much larger advantage, but it's not going to be, really a big factor in terms of, competing against other players. But that being said, those are the actual, monetary value of some of these things, as well as some of the actual realities of going ahead and spending money in the game. But I just wanted to get that information out for everyone, because some people are talking about, oh, you're going to play free to play. Well, you're going to have to know your limitations if you are free to play. This is a mobile game at the end of the day, and so the culture around mobile games is that if you spend money, you're going to get an advantage, and that is just generally accepted by the mobile gaming community, including myself. But I understand that there are some players out there that are strictly players from other cultures in the PC gaming community that are not expecting a sort of system like this, because it's not generally used in PC/console gaming. But there you go. There's your information, just to be, getting your expectations set straight before launch. Let me know what you think about this system in the comments down below. Please keep it relatively cordial. Just trying to give you some information here. That being said, let me know, and I'll see you for the next one.